Hi, first grade. We are going to get started with your math lesson today. We are doing lesson 13.4, tell and write time to the hour. Your I can statement is I can tell the hour using two different types of clock. I can tell time to the hour using two different types of clocks.
Breakfast at 7 o'clock.
The clock shows 7 o'clock. How do you know that the clock shows 7 o'clock?
How do you know that the clock shows 7 o'clock? I know because the hour hand, the little hour hand, is pointing towards the 7, and the long minute hand is pointing towards the 12. And yesterday we learned that when a minute hand is pointing towards the 12, we say o'clock. So the time is 7 o'clock.
The hour hand points to 7, and the minute hand points to 12. This clock shows 7 o'clock another way. What looks different about this kind of clock? Think about it.
So what I notice about this clock is that it doesn't have an hour hand or a minute hand like our analog clock does. This shows me the number 7 and the numbers 0. And so I know that it says 7 o'clock, but it shows 7 o'clock to me in a different way than when I would see it on an analog hand, and I would have to look for the minute hand and the hour hand.
One difference is that this kind of clock has no hands. What does the number before the two dots tell?
Select your answer.
So what does the number before the two dots tell? The hour or the minutes? So I'm going to say the hour because the clock that I was looking at before, the analog clock, showed me 7 o'clock.
It tells the hour. What do the numbers after the two dots tell?
So we know if the 7 is the hour, that the 2 zeros must be the minutes.
They tell the minutes. So 7 tells the hour and 00 tells the minutes. Compare the two clocks. Do they show the same time?
Select your answer.
So I see that this analog clock shows that it's 7 o'clock. And I see that it's hour 7 and 0 minutes. So to me, that means it's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock and 7 o'clock, they do show the same time.
Yes, both clocks show the same time. Now you know how to tell the time on two kinds of clocks.
So we're going to move on to your practice. So on this first one, it's asking us to draw the hands on the clock face and then write the time on the other clock. So 3 o'clock, I know that I have a little hour hand that goes towards the 3 and a long minute hand that goes towards the 12, and that means 3 o'clock. On a digital clock, I'm going to write 3, 0, 0. 5 o'clock, my short hour hand goes towards the 5, and my long minute hand goes towards the 12. To write it on a digital clock, I'm going to start with the hour, 5, o'clock, 00. 12 o'clock. Yesterday we talked about this. The short hour hand is on there, but we're also going to have our long minute hand and they would overlap. We are going to write it on a digital clock by first writing the hour, 12 o'clock, 00. 11 o'clock. I'm going to draw my short hour hand and my long minute hand towards the O clock. Now I'm going to start with my hour hand, 11 o'clock, 00. So this page is doing more of the same. We're going to keep going through and we're only going to do a few, and then I'm going to pause and let you guys tell me what you think. So where would I draw my hour hand pointing to? You're right. I would draw it towards the 2. It would be a short arrow towards the 2. When it says o'clock, what number does my long minute hand point towards? You said 12. You are right. So now my clock says 2 o'clock. My digital clock needs to match. I'm going to start with my hour. 2. What numbers come next? 0, 0. 4 o'clock. Where do you think that my short hour hand is going to point towards? My short hour hand is pointing towards the 4. Where should my minute hand point towards? The 12. My minute hand goes all the way to the 12. Now for my digital clock to match, I'm going to start with the hour, 4. Good. And I'm going to do my minutes next. O'clock is a 00. 6 o'clock would be the same. Short hour hand towards the 6, long minute hand towards the 12. Make it match. 6 is the hour, the minutes are 0. I would love for friends to try 8, 9, and 10. Talk about it with your parents. Pause the video right here and talk about what you think 9 o'clock looks like on the analog clock and the digital clock. All right, 9 o'clock would be a short hour hand, long minute hand. Did you get it right? Our analog clock, we would say 9 o'clock with our 00s. Good. 10, our short hour hand towards the 10, and our long minute hand towards the 12. Again, I'm writing our hour first, and our minutes as 00. Last one is 1 o'clock. We're going to have a short hour hand, long minute hand. And we're going to write 1 o'clock. So think about how the hands move on a clock to help you solve this problem. Mary writes a pattern, then she erases some of the times. Write the missing times. So she has 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, blank, 12 o'clock, blank. So I notice when I look at a clock, I see 6, 8 and 12 down here. So if I look, it seems that they skipped one number between 6 and 8. So if I continue that pattern, skip 9, it gives me 10. Skip 11 gives me 12. So I think that 10 o'clock should go here in the pattern. What do you think should go in this spot to finish the pattern? 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So I'm all the way around the clock. What would go next? Almost like they're counting by twos. And then we get to 12, which puts us back at the beginning. So I think the final answer must be 2 o'clock as it moves around the clock. All right, first grade. Now that you have watched the lesson for 13.4, log into Pearson Realize and do the interactive practice buddy and the quick check for 13.4. Bye, guys.